We're glad to have you today. This concert is being presented in memory of two of my former colleagues at SUNY Cortland. One is Joel Shatsky, who for decades was a very prolific writer in a wide variety of genres and served the English department for, I believe, close to 4 decades. And sadly, last April, he was taken in death by COVID-19. The other colleague is in my discipline, music, Mr. Lutz Mayer. He who was equally prolific as a composer. And he and I collaborated many times, and we knew each other. He was a charming, very genteel gentleman, one that I am sorry to say passed away in November of this past year. This will be the first performance, the first staged performance of a piece on which they collaborated back in 1985. It is an operetta called Damn That Apple. And since this is the PG audience, maybe I should say, gosh darn that apple. It is a spoof on Genesis 1. And when we first arrived, my colleague and I, in 1985, our first semester at SUNY Cortland, we were approached by Mr. Meyer and asked to be the actors in his premiere performance of it. My colleague Ralph Dudgeon, who was brought to Cortland as a trumpet player, but was a very fine singer, sang the role of Adam. My then wife Teresa sang the role of Eve. At the piano was the late department chairman, Dr. Donna Anderson, who was a marvelous musician and human being and a respected musicologist. The role of God, of course, went to me. It was the only role I would accept, and they willingly gave it to me. But that was a reading. That was not a stage performance. Well, this performance today is actually 1 year late because on a cold day, last April 2020, I was out taking a walk and my phone rang. And I answered it, and at the other end was a gentleman who called himself Leonard Lehrman. He had heard about Damn That Apple, and because he too was a collaborator with both Joel and Lutz, and wanted to get his hands on that and was hoping to mount a production of it. So he called me and asked me many, many questions. The conversation lasted close to an hour as I was freezing outside. And what it amounted to was he was looking for the materials, the score and the script, in order to begin his work on preparing a production. The production was intended to be here in the area in the summer of 2020. Well, of course it didn't happen because we all know why. COVID shut down all theaters and all live music performances. But I have come to know Leonard Lehrman as a very tenacious and a very visionary man. He refused to give up on the idea. He continued to work on the materials. He edited the script. He transcribed some of the music. He added an overture to the piece, which Lutz did not do. And for a year and a half, continued to plan and prepare for this particular performance tonight, this afternoon. So this is, in fact, the first stage performance. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce to you the director and the person playing the role of God today, Dr. Leonard.